you don't have enough time to do the things that you want to do in any given day. So what do you do about it? Today we're going to be exploring the topic of finding a niche. A niche is a specific thing that you do that you're pretty good at, that you thrive in. I have a niche. That's for me is jujitsu. Me finding my niche led to a lot of happiness, and it led to a lot of me feeling like I spent my time wisely. And that's something that you don't really get often when you are scrolling TikTok or like laying in bed and like rotting. I really hate that term. So let's break this down into a couple of steps, shall we? What can you do to start finding your niche? I want you to take a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, and I want you to list down the things that you like doing. Now, this actually might be difficult for a lot of people. A lot of people say to themselves, oh yeah, I have hobbies, I have interests, but could you write them down on a list? Really, list every single one of them. Let's see what you would actually spend a Friday or Saturday afternoon doing. It can be literally anything. That is painting, it could be running, it could be gardening, anything, any hobby, anything you actually enjoy doing. Figure that out for me and let's write it down, okay? We're gonna put a 30-second timer on and I want you to write it down because hopefully you got that paper and pen by now. I'm gonna do this too. Okay, you ready? Let's do it. Okay, I just wrote down a couple of things that I'm interested in, but let's take this list and break it down a little bit more. I hope that you actually went out and wrote the things that you're interested in, and if you feel like you were pressed for time in the 30 seconds and you couldn't write down specifically what you're interested in, either take another 30 seconds or maybe the things that didn't come to your mind immediately in 30 seconds or however long it took you to write those things down aren't actually the things you want to do. Think about that. If you couldn't come up with the specific thing that you wanted to do and love doing in 30 seconds, maybe that thing isn't specifically the thing that is the most enjoyable for you. But if you could, that's fine. We're going to go over my list and we're going to see what I could change and what I can get from this list. Jiu-jitsu. This is a pretty good niche. Not many people do it. It's a little bit physically taxing on the body. It's something that is difficult, I would say, as there is high rates of injury. You are grappling and like touching other people. It's a very specific type of person that needs to be able to do jiu-jitsu. Filmmaking is a pretty good niche. A lot of people say that they want to make films and they like recording stuff, but not a lot of people actually go out there and do it. So that's another niche. Now, watching movies. I want to hit this point because I want to talk about producing something versus not producing something within a niche. In my opinion, if you want to have a skill that will help you grow, help you develop, you need to be able to get better at it, right? So watching movies is something you can do for fun, but I really wouldn't classify that as a niche. Reviewing movies and making videos about it or writing stories that involve the movies or something like that, that could be more of a niche. But because watching movies is something that you consume, I wouldn't really say it's something that I would call a niche. Now, again, this is just my advice, but if you feel like you are struggling to find where you specifically fit in, maybe consuming isn't where you need to be. Producing things can show other people that you are somebody who has their own creative mind, who has their own, style and flow in order to do things, and I feel like it just generates more respect. So, if you're just a fan of The Office, right? I'm not sure that that will lead to too many conversations. But if you say, hey, I made this painting, or hey, I made this remix or something like that of The Office, I feel like a lot more people would be like, oh, hey, that's cool. You made this, right? So making things is something that I really like and I think is an important part of being within a niche. Let's talk about lifting weights too. So you may say, jiu-jitsu and lifting weights, you're not really producing anything, but you are. With lifting weights and with jiu-jitsu, you are essentially creating like more muscle and like producing a result in that way. Obviously, after you watch a movie, your perspective in life can change and things like that. But really think about lifting weights as a good niche to start with. And then my dogs. I have 4 freaking dogs. That's a lot of dogs. So that is a niche that I enjoy a lot, but I'm not going to say that my care for my dogs is something that is like a niche of mine, because first of all, they're not really mine. They stay at home with my parents, and it's something I can't really talk too much of because I haven't done the personal training of them and actually gotten them to a level where I'm producing something. I just enjoy the fact that I do have dogs, and I like playing with them, I like cuddling them, I like running around with them, right? So the point I'm trying to make is you need to find a niche that ends up with you having a result, right? The result of it can be either physical, it can be mental, but I think that having a physical, tangible result within a niche is something that's really important and will make you satisfied. You'll see that progress, right? You can watch as many movies as you want, but you can't really become better at watching movies. You need to be able to produce something out of it. So when you're producing something, you're really putting a mark on it by placing your identity within that niche, right? So when I make a piece of art, right, I draw a little guy, right? Only I can draw that guy, not anybody else, because that's the skill that I gained with my experience, with my understanding of the world. So if somebody else wanted to draw this, they would be flummoxed at my drawing ability. They wouldn't be able to completely comprehend how good I am. But it also, they would have a different perspective. They would have a different thing that they would produce in the end, right? So do things that lead to an end result. That will help you find a niche that you can be sustainable in, you can stay within for a really long time. Now let's talk about resources. A lot of things take time and money. Those are the 2 main resources that you're going to need to have in order to pursue a niche or do the thing that you want to do. We all need to pay our bills, we all need to be able to support our family members, and we all need to be able to live somewhere reasonable within our means and kind of experience things without going crazy. If I wanted to really, I could take my entire paycheck, invest 75% of it, and live off of pennies, but I'm not going to do that because guess what? I like buying things and I like wearing nice clothes. So if everything costs time and money, then how can you find a niche that lets you be able to do whatever you want with that niche without always spending money or spending crazy amounts of money? So I'll give you an example. My brother is really into cars. Cars is something that he loves. He has a really nice car, but he's not going out and buying a new car every day. What he does is he takes care of that car. What he does is every single day, in order to get his satisfaction, to fulfill his niche, fulfill his identity, he takes care of that car. He vacuums it, he washes it, he checks the tire pressure. He does everything that a car would need in order to function to the level that he expects, right? So that is the niche that he's in, and he gets a lot of satisfaction from that, and it's a part of his identity. I'd say that my brother is somebody who is happy with his niche. Me, I'd say jiu-jitsu is something that I do a lot. I'm very happy with my niche. It's something that I try doing every single day, or try thinking about every single day, and it gives me a lot back. You need to find something that's going to give you something back when you try doing it. Because if you're doing a niche in which you're doing something alone for a long time, or you are just consuming somebody else's thing, it will lead you to kind of not be able to express your true identity, right? So a lot of times in therapy for rich people or for people who are depressed, they'll do this exercise where they'll be like, okay, just take some paintbrushes, take some paint, and let's just paint onto a canvas, right? So being able to express yourself for them is really difficult, and being able to draw and actually put stuff onto a page and seeing that white space is really difficult for people to comprehend. What I want and what I think is really good is that you can train yourself to not be in that situation and not be completely dead in that situation, or not dead in the sense of you're not alive, but no, dead in the sense that you don't have any anything that you could put onto a page, is by practicing producing things within your niche, right? So I have Gundam that I collect. I have paintings that I collect. All these things are things that I enjoy, but I wouldn't say collecting is my niche. If collecting was my niche, I would have a collection and I would have things within that collection. I would be like producing a organizing system out of it. There'd be something that's coming out of it. You can't just buy things with the expectation that that thing is now your niche just because you bought into it. You have to produce something. Something has to come out of it. Niches aren't hobbies. Hobbies are something that you do to relax, something that, you can do, you can mess up at, you can, fail completely and not really care. Niches are something you want to experience and get better at and keep developing and keep getting to the top. It's not like you can't fail in that niche, but I think it's good for you to want to reach like a different level or like keep improving with that, right? For hobbies, I'd say it doesn't really matter because, I garden and my garden sucks. I've only ever produced, I think, one thing out of my garden, but I find a lot of joy out of gardening. So I'll keep doing it, but it's not my niche, I would say. The entire point of this conversation was to give you the ability to figure what do you like to do. That is something that a lot of people struggle with. Being able to answer that question will change your life for the better. What do you like to do? Can you do it? And are you going to go do it? Right? So, I like to do jiu-jitsu. It took literally a global pandemic for me to say, well, we're all going to die anyways, so I guess I'll do the thing that I want to do. A global pandemic. Do not wait for bad things to happen in order for you to start chasing your dreams. I feel like a lot of people have this same thing where something really bad will happen to them. It'll be life-changing. Something completely will like shift their focus on life, right? And then they'll go do the thing they want and be like, damn, I should have started that thing earlier. That's pretty much what happened with me with COVID. I was like, damn, how could I not have done jiu-jitsu earlier? And I did one time almost walk into a gym. I was getting pizza and I walked over to a jiu-jitsu gym and I saw the logo and I saw people inside. And I was like, well, what the hell are they doing? So I was going to open the door, but then I looked to my left and I saw my mom. And I was like, you know what? My mom probably wouldn't ever let me do this. And I was wrong, right? I was younger at the time. I was like 15, 14. But if I had started jiu-jitsu earlier, I think I would have been a happier and more content person. So do not let bad things in the world, in your situation, be the thing that inspires you to do and try something new. If you find something that you like, you find something that you enjoy, something that you love doing, make that thing your niche and make that thing the thing you do every single day. And pursue it relentlessly. Because guess what? We all live very, very short lives. I understand that a lot of the time that I spent as a young adult was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do, what I actually enjoy, what I, found in motivation and enjoyment and like what made me live life, right? A lot of those things I could have started earlier, but other circumstances stopped me. My parents' judgment, my friends' judgment, my own personal lack of self-confidence. So I'm saying, for the love of God, please look into the mirror, look into your soul and say, what do I love to do? And then go out and do it. I'm telling you, it will make you happier. It will make you more successful. It will make you feel like yourself. Because not enough people have that one thing that they love doing, whether it be drawing, whether it be anything in the world, right? They say to themselves, I need to get a job, I need to work, I need to make money. Making money is good. You do need to do that stuff. But after you get to that level, you now have the ability to financially support yourself and go do the thing you want to do, right? So one way you can shortcut this all is by having the thing you want to do be the thing that financially supports you. That's how a lot of small businesses are made. There's people who make hats. There's people who make clothes. There's people who make YouTube videos like me. There is space to make money anywhere. If you love doing the thing that you do and you want to make money doing it too, you can do that as well. There is money to be made everywhere, no matter what. You can become the best writer. You become the best actor. You can be the best version of yourself possible. And I know this sounds like motivational jargon. It's like, oh yeah, it's easy for you to say, right? But like I said, as long as you are having your basic needs met, you have the ability to do a lot of good things. Do those things. Try those things out, even if it sucks in the beginning. Try your best to do just cheap experiments. That's what I like to call it, a cheap experiment. So you go in, you just try it for a little bit, you don't invest any money, you don't put anything down, and you just try it and you see how it feels, see how it makes you feel, and then you go do that thing. that then becomes either your niche or something that you did and you tried and you gained a valuable like experience doing. Sometimes knowing what you don't want to do is important as well, because figuring out what you don't want to do usually only happens after somebody makes the choice for you, right? Usually if you're going to go out and do something, you're like, okay, I kind of want to do this. When you don't want to do something, it's when you only have to. I don't like working in fast food. I don't like cleaning dishes. I figured that out because I had to wash dishes in order to support myself and make money for myself, right? So I'm not going to do that anymore. But I had to because I needed to support myself. So don't put yourself in a situation where you have to do something in order to survive or succeed. Really find that financial like bubble, like give yourself time, give yourself a little bit of security, and then you can go pursue the thing you want to do. I think that's really important, and I think you should really find a niche. If you don't, it's okay. But if you do, let me know what it is in the comments down below. This is Matt from The Alive Company. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. Have a nice day.